Good evening, folks, and welcome back to Raiders Report, your ultimate source for all things silver and black. I'm your host, Michelle here, and tonight, we've got a topic that's got Raider Nation buzzing with a mix of excitement and dread. Picture this, it's mid-October 2025, the leaves are turning, but in the NFL, the real change is coming at the trade deadline on November 4th. What if your biggest rivals in the AFC West suddenly loaded up with superstar talent that could haunt the Raiders for years? Yeah, that's the nightmare scenario we're diving into today. As a die-hard Raiders fan at heart, though I'll keep it impartial here, nothing stings quite like watching the Broncos, Chiefs, or Chargers beef up their rosters while we're plotting our own comeback. So, buckle up, because we're breaking it all down, from the potential deals to the historical headaches they've caused us before. Let's get into it. First off, let's set the stage. The Las Vegas Raiders, fresh off their move from Oakland back in 2020, have been building something special in the desert. Remember those iconic days in the black hole, with legends like Marcus Allen bulldozing through defenses or Howie Long terrorizing quarterbacks? That grit is still in our DNA, even as we shine under the lights of Allegiant Stadium, that sleek, $2 billion marvel that's become a fortress for Raider Nation. But this season, it's been a roller coaster. We're not exactly in the thick of contention, sitting at a middling record that's got us eyeing the draft more than the playoffs. According to the latest buzz from Dice City Sports, penned by Derek Hegna, the Raiders aren't expected to be wheelin' and dealin' much come deadline day. Sure, we could move pieces like wide receiver Jacoby Myers, that savvy route runner who's been a reliable target since joining us, or linebacker Jamal Adams, whose hard-hitting style fits our just win, baby ethos. But overall, we're playing the long game, focusing on development rather than blockbuster trades. Now, contrast that with our AFC West foes. These guys, the Denver Broncos, Kansas City Chiefs, and Los Angeles Chargers, are all sniffing around the postseason, and they're hungry for upgrades. The division's always been a bloodbath, folks. Think back to the Raiders' storied rivalries, those epic clashes with the Chiefs, dating all the way to the AFL days, where we'd trade haymakers in games that defined toughness. Or the Chargers, our SoCal nemesis, with battles that often come down to the wire. And don't forget the Broncos, who we've tangled with since the 60s, including that heartbreaking 2011 overtime thriller. If any of these teams snag a game-changer at the deadline, it could tilt the balance not just for this year, but for seasons to come. And for the Raiders, who rely on our ferocious defense led by stars like Max Crosby, that relentless edge rusher with the heart of a lion, and our offensive firepower from guys like Davante Adams, the route-running wizard we stole from Green Bay, that spells trouble. So, let's zero in on the nightmare additions that could make life miserable for us twice a year. Starting with the Denver Broncos. Oh boy, these guys are starting to gel, aren't they? After a rocky start, their defense is roaring back to elite status, reminiscent of their no-fly zone era that won them Super Bowl 50. But offensively, they're missing that spark. Head coach Sean Payton, the offensive guru who turned Drew Brees into a legend down in New Orleans, has always loved a dynamic tight end. Remember Jimmy Graham lighting up defenses with those red zone grabs? Well, Evan Engram hasn't quite filled those shoes in Denver. Enter the potential nightmare, David Njoku from the Cleveland Browns. This guy's a beast, folks, a 6 feet 4 inches, 246-pound receiving threat who's hauled in over 50 catches each of the last few seasons, with a knack for turning short passes into big gains. In 2025, he's been productive as ever, racking up yards after the catch that make defenses sweat. Why is this a Raiders horror story? Imagine Njoku pairing with rookie quarterback Bo Nix, who's shown flashes of poise but needs more weapons. Njoku could dominate the intermediate routes, drawing coverage away from speedsters like Marvin Mims Jr. or Troy Franklin, opening up deep bombs that our secondary would hate. Statistically speaking, the Broncos already rank in the top 10 for defensive efficiency, allowing just 18 points per game. Add an offensive boost like this, and their points scored could jump from their current 22 per game to something north of 28. Compare that to the Raiders' offense, which has struggled against Denver's pass rush in recent meetings. We've lost 3 of the last 5, often because we couldn't protect our quarterback long enough. If Njoku lands in Mile High, it's like handing Peyton a new toy to torment us with. I can already hear the groans in Allegiant Stadium. But wait, there's more, and it's even scarier when we talk about the Kansas City Chiefs. These perennial powerhouses, led by the wizardry of Andy Reid and the arm of Patrick Mahomes, are rounding into form just as the weather cools. They've won the last 2 Super Bowls, folks, and their dynasty echoes the Raiders' own glory days in the 70s and 80s, when we claimed 3 Lombardi trophies with stars like Ken Stabler slinging it to Cliff Branch. But even kings have weaknesses. This year, the Chiefs' defensive line has been a sore spot. Chris Jones is still a monster inside, with his 10 sacks last season, but the edge rush? It's lacked that consistent bite, generating pressure on only about 35% of dropbacks, down from their usual 40+. Enter Kayvon Thibodeau, the edge rusher from the New York Giants, as the ultimate Raiders nightmare. Drafted 5th overall in 2022, this guy's got the tools. 6 feet 5 inches, explosive off the line, with 22 pressures already this season and improved run defense that's made him a complete player. The Giants picked up his 5th-year option, but with studs like Abdul Carter and Brian Burns on the roster, they might listen to offers. If the Chiefs snag him, defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo, the mad scientist behind those Super Bowl defenses, could unleash a 3-headed monster. Jones in the middle, Thibodeau on one edge, and George Karlaftis on the other. That's the kind of pressure that could sack our quarterback 5 times in a game. Remember our 2023 loss to KC where we gave up 4 sacks and turned the ball over twice? Let's add some color here with a fictional chat. Imagine I caught up with Raiders edge rusher Max Crosby after practice. Man, Thibodeau joining the Chiefs? That's like adding fuel to an already raging fire, Crosby might say, wiping sweat from his brow. We've got our hands full with Jones as it is. He's a game wrecker. But with Kayvon bringing that speed rush, it'd force us to double-team everywhere, opening lanes for Mahomes to scramble. Raider Nation, we'd fight back, but it'd be a dogfight every time. Or picture a fan at a tailgate. No way! We've beaten KC before, like that Christmas Day upset in 2023. But this, it'd make our rivalry even more intense. Just win, baby, but easier said than done. Shifting gears to the Los Angeles Chargers, who are no strangers to making waves. Under Jim Harbaugh, the hard-nosed coach who brought Michigan a national title, they've already swung a deal for edge rusher Odafe Oweh from Baltimore, bolstering that defense. But injuries have hit hard. Tackle Joe Alt and running back Amarian Hampton are sidelined, stalling their momentum. They're eyeing the trade market, especially with the winless New York Jets in fire sale mode. The nightmare pickup? Breece Hall, the Jets running back who's bounced back strong in 2025 after a dip last year. In wrapping up, Raider Nation, these nightmare scenarios are just that, possibilities. But they remind us why we love this game. The drama, the rivalries, the comebacks. Whether we're trading or standing pat, the silver and black spirit endures, from Oakland's rowdy days to Vegas glitz. So, tune in next week for our preview of the upcoming clash. Mark your calendars, and let's pack Allegiant Stadium. Just win, baby. Until next time, this is Your Name, signing off. Go Raiders!